When I was in high school, I took a typing class, and there was this really cute girl in the class who was sitting in front of me named Tara. And I had a crush on her. And I would just write her like love notes or flirtatious messages. And she would write back. And the only problem with her was that she was a born again Christian. And she wouldn't go out with me unless I agreed to go to her church and convert. So I was like, okay, I can do that. So she took me to her church. And, I wasn't particularly taken by the church or the pastor. And afterwards, the pastor tried to convert me. And I kind of tried to accept Jesus into my heart just so I could really have sex with Tara. But, I tried. I really tried to be open minded about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And so we go on a date and we go to a movie. And afterwards, we go to the beach. And we're like laying on the sand under this lifeguard station. And we're like making out, or at least I'm making out with her. And she's just lying there, like completely limp. And I'm kissing her and I'm feeling her out. And she's not moving at all, like not at all. She's like a board, a surfboard. And at a certain point, I started feeling like this is too weird. Like I can't just have my way with her if she's not going to give me any kind of sign of reciprocity. So I just kind of gave up and said, let's just go. So that was the end of our date. And I graduated soon after that and I went to college. And when I came back for like Christmas break, I called her up and she agreed to go on a date with me. And I was excited to go on this date with her. And then I got a call from my dad who said he'd gotten a call from this teacher at our high school who knew her, who told my dad to warn me that she probably has a venereal disease because she sleeps around a lot. And I was like, okay. And so we go on this date and she's changed a lot. She's kind of become, slutty, I guess. And I was into her. I really was. But we didn't have sex. And I would hear from her once in a while. She'd call me and say she wanted to come stay with me in New Haven, where I was going to college. And I was like, well, I don't know. I have roommates and stuff. I don't think they'd be into it. It was absurd. And then, like a year later, I was in LA again and I called her up and her father answered the phone. And I said, hi, is Tara there? And there was silence. And I said, is Tara there? He said, who is this? I said, my name's Kaveh. I'm a friend of hers from high school. And he said, Tara's dead. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he hangs up the phone. And I was like, how did she die? What happened? I didn't know. And I wanted to call back and ask him how she died, but I thought that was rude and insensitive. So I didn't. And I just wondered for years, what happened to Tara? Did it have anything to do with her, promiscuity or her venereal disease? And then when the internet became a thing, I looked her up and there she was. She had killed herself with a gun. And the reason she was on the internet at all was because her parents had sued the gun store that had sold her the gun because she had been having mental health issues and she had been suicidal. And they weren't supposed to sell a gun to somebody with history of mental health issues who had had suicide attempts, but they did. And I couldn't help thinking about the night that we were laying under the lifeguard station and I was feeling her out and she was just laying there like a corpse. And it all kind of just made sense all of a sudden.